Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Dan from Everyday Gaming. Today I'm bringing you an updated Granblue list. The newest set just dropped, My Glorious Justice, and with it we got some new Granblue cards. So I'm going to be showing you the version that I'm playing at the moment. It might change in the future. There's some things I saw when playing in my locals that I wanted to change, but for now this is the build that I have going forward. Starting off with Captain Nightkid. It's the new starter for the deck. Guiding Zombie is cool, but Nightkid just looks a lot cooler. Trigger lineup, we're playing 4 heal. Pretty standard. But now that we have the second wave of crits for it, we're going to be playing 12 crit, just to ensure that our grade 3 turn pushes for as much damage as possible. For grade 1s, we're starting off with a standard Dandy Guy Romario. He is your ideal turn 1 ride. If you don't manage to get him, the next best is Dolph the Ghosty. He is the perfect guard for this set, and when you place him on the Vanguard, you draw a card and you discard a card from your hand. It's good to set up your graveyard for later turns, for your grade 3 turns. 3 Ripple Banshee. I was using her incorrectly in the tournament during round 1. I thought it was when she was placed regardless, so I would play her on rear guard turn 1, Soul Blast, draw a card, and give it +4. Game 2 of that first round, me and my opponent realized it. Gave him that game, went on to game 3, and played it correctly. I didn't see much of a difference from it. I still managed to win that. It still generated me the same amount of plus. So even playing that from drop didn't change anything. Lastly, it's Pat the Ghosty. It's pretty good if you have 10 or more cards in your drop. He can be played to the Guardian Circle with 15,000 shield. But when he is retired from the Guardian Circle, he is banished. And that's it for the grade 1s. Grade 2, we play 4 Rune Shade. Rune Shade is a new card that just came out in the set. It's if you have 10 or more cards in your drop, during your turn he gains +5. And when he's placed on rear guard, you can discard a card from your hand and put the top 2 cards of your deck into drop, and then add a card from your drop to your hand that's not named Rune Shade. So it's pretty good for setting up your grave for later turns. Next is another new card from this set, Stormride Ghost Ship. It can't be normal placed on the rear guard, but you can still ride it in case you don't get a grade 2. And when it's placed from drop and attacks, it gains +15, and at the end of the battle, you draw a card and retire it. So it's really good for your turn 3 plays. And lastly is for Commodore Blue Blood. He puts good pressure against your opponent because they either are going to drop a card from their hand to block it, or you can hit their Vanguard, retire it, and draw 2 cards and discard. Again, feeding either both your hand and the drop at the same time. I would probably cut down on these going forward and play Rune Shade just to fuel the grave a little bit better, because sometimes they'll just drop the card from their hand. It won't really matter, and he'll still be stuck on the board. For the grade 3s, we're playing 3 Cocytus. It's the new grade 3 from the set. It's very good. It's a better Baskirk. During your turn, you can counterblast 1 and send the top 4 cards of your deck to the grave, or to the drop, and then for call 2 units from it, +1 for every grade 3 in your soul. So if it's your first ride, you can essentially just call 2 free units. If you continuously ride it, you're going to get upwards of 5 units called, but it is a very heavy cost. Just that sending the top 4 constantly can really deplete your resources, can make you deck out a lot quicker than normal. Next is 2 Skull Dragon. Again, it's still very good. Calling it off of the Cocytus, especially when you have 20 plus in drop to give your Cocytus the extra 20k and crit. It just puts a lot more pressure on your opponent than it would with the Baskirk. Speaking of, you play the 1 Baskirk. It's a good stopping point when you realize you're getting low with on cards in deck. You can just ride him over the Cocytus and essentially still be a 37 beater with a crit compared to Cocytus's 32. He's only going to get net you 1 card from drop though, so you're usually going to want to play it with the Skull Dragon. And lastly, the last grade 3 we play is the 1 Violence. It's still a good finisher. Still, you got a Soul Blaster grade 3 and then discard cards from your hand. Usually you're just going to want to discard the 0s or 1s just to ensure that your opponent can't guard him. He's going to go up to 17 plus anything that you call behind it. A Dandy Guy or a Ripple Banshee is just going to push a little harder on your opponent. And that's the lineup for this deck right now. Again, I said I might change it, may reduce the number of Commodores and add in some Rune Shades, but for now, that's it. Again, this has been Dan with Everyday Gaming. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you liked about this profile, what you want to see in the future with it, what changes you might want with it. Let me know your lists and anything else that you want to see on the channel going forward with this deck, anything else, any other card games you might want to see as well. And remember, the day ends in Y, we're gaming. Thanks for watching.